I'm back, and this is my Mandalorian Season 1 review. And you're probably wondering why I'm reviewing this so late. Well, I originally planned to do this review around the beginning of Season 2 because I rewatched Season 1 going in. But unfortunately, I got pretty sidetracked by school. Now here it is, my Mandalorian Season 1 review, coming out the day Season 2 ends. I'll do Season 2 relatively soon, along with some other stuff. I can do a lot more since I'm on vacation right now. School doesn't start up till late January. But anyway, how did I feel about the first season of The Mandalorian? It was very good. All the parts were good. All the episodes were interesting, and it was short enough that I can rewatch it easily compared to some other shows, Clone Wars. It was the perfect first season, very good to get people into the show, but vague enough to have room to grow in the future. I liked it a lot, and because of the first season, I think Mandalorian is one of the best shows out there right now. First things first. For some reason, I always talk about the music first, but I guess that's the thing I do now. Well, the music in the first season and the show in general is very good and unique. It manages to stand out against the movie soundtracks, which I appreciate very much. One of the major sort of disappointments that I had with the newer movies is that they basically just had the same music from John Williams from 40 plus years ago. The music's very good from those, but I've heard it before, and it was better the first time. If you want to stand out, you can't use something people have heard before. The Mandalorian does this perfectly, but it still feels like Star Wars. It's strange how the music is completely different than anything else in Star Wars, but it feels like part of the thing, like it's not out of place. I think this is because they used like an orchestra, but they were playing music that was originally created as like more modern style. Anyway, the result is this beautiful theme that creates a distinct theme for the Mandalorian that sort of replicates the themes from the original trilogy in a way. Next up, the action sequences and the sort of filmmaking in general. I can say it's pretty good in regards to both. In the fight scenes, it's no better or worse than any other Star Wars film or modern action movie. It doesn't rely on the action to sort of put itself forward, which is why it's not anything stellar. It's not amazing. It's just sort of fight scenes. Now, what it really does rely on is the filmmaking, because the filmmaking is very good. It's the first to use a new technology, pretty much, that basically it's complicated. It allows them to film in a virtual environment with screens in the sort of set that project the landscape. It's really cool, and I suggest you watch the sort of behind the scenes of The Mandalorian on Disney Plus to find out more about it, because it's really cool. It allows for much greater artistry and style when it comes to the shots when compared to a green screen. It accomplishes sort of the same effect of a green screen as having a sort of virtual environment, but it allows the filmmakers to film more like they were actually in the environment. Basically, it's amazing, and the filmmaking artistry is amazingly good as a result of it. Next up, the character design, world design, and basically all the art stuff that isn't, filmmaking, the CGI and puppets, etc. And it's amazing too. The combined use of CGI plus the puppets with practical effects plus the post CGI creates a perfect sort of real world stuff in the show. Baby Yoda is one of the cutest things in the world right now, and the acting really helps to sell it as well. The acting of the puppet masters, which, by the way, I'm not going to talk about the acting overall a lot, but the acting in the season was good overall. All the props were well made, top quality stuff, and the costuming is done amazingly well too for the all the aliens and stuff. The show really avoids the obvious CGI that was sort of present in most Star Wars stuff starting from 1999 when the Phantom Menace came out. I'm pretty sure CGI was used at some point, but I can't tell at all. it really makes sure that the show doesn't lean on CGI to keep it looking good, and I appreciate that. You don't see that a lot. Marvel pretty much leans heavily on CGI. A lot of the new action cool things rely on CGI. The overall character designs are amazing as well, and you can see sort of the whole show was off to a good start with the concept art that they show at the end of each episode. The artistic direction for the show was just amazing from the start. They knew right where they were going to do, and it was good. The only major thing left to talk about is the story. It's pretty good in my opinion. People seem to get annoyed when there's an episode where not a lot of story quotation marks happens. But my opinion on these, quote unquote filler episodes is that they aren't filler at all. I watched all of Clone Wars and all of Rebels, and I know what filler is. And really, Mandalorian, none of it's filler. Sure, not every episode is as exciting as others, but all of them are important to the character development and the show as a whole. The storyline of the first season is relatively simple, and it clearly sets up for larger stuff down the road. Basically, the Mandalorian main character finds Baby Yoda, which is just a baby of Yoda's species, and instead of giving him to the Empire, who wants him, protects him from a bunch of bounty hunters, and eventually the Empire themselves. Pretty simple, with a lot of room to grow in the second and eventually third seasons. The fact that the character is masked all the time is not as weird as you might think. You do get used to it pretty easily, and it's not really a first for Star Wars anyway, because, Darth Vader. I was hoping they wouldn't reveal his face, but they did end up doing that. In retrospect, it was probably a good idea, considering some of the stuff that ends up happening in the second season. If you know, you know. But the overarching story is good, and the individual storylines of the episodes are pretty good as well. Overall, the first season of The Mandalorian and the show as a whole is very good. The whole thing's just very well done, good. Good everything. And honestly, it's not that surprising. They put a lot of effort into this, and the show is basically carrying Disney Plus right now. And until summer 2021, not a lot more is supposed to come out from Disney Plus. The characters, filmmaking, and music and story come together in a perfect way that is only possible due to the new tech of today. People will probably look back at this and say, it was revolutionary and it still looks good today. I give the first season of The Mandalorian a 0.997 out of 1, a near top score.